We're starting, and we're live for 2 seconds, so people will be tuning in if you want to get going.
Hi, everybody. Drew says we are live, and Drew is in the house helping with this venture, and I appreciate it. And I know we got a bunch already. I think Linda and Kathy, welcome. Glad you guys are tuning in today. I appreciate it.
Because we are a team.
We are a team. Yes, we are.
I should phrase it differently.
And we're a community. And so what I haven't encouraged up until now is I would love for you guys to post some pictures.
Did you go through organic stepping stones when you clicked live just now?
I thought I did.
I wasn't. Okay, I'm going to go on the computer and I'm going to go share it. Alexandra just joined us.
Hello, Alexandra.
And I'm going to share this with the rest of your Facebook. So if everyone wants to like and share while we get going, before we get started here, Renee's going to talk to you a little bit. You got 3 people tuned in so far, and I'm going to go to the computer. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. Again, we're going to be doing bagels today, and I'm pretty excited. I know my kids have been asking me for years, and I'm like, I don't know how to do that. It's too difficult. I'm not doing it. I said, they're not good for us. So today, I've been, not just today, I've been playing around and I've been making the bagels. They're not difficult to do. It requires a little bit of time, but no, they're easy to do. So I'm glad you guys are tuning in. And what I was starting to say is, I would love to see some pictures of your stuff. I know I got a couple for some people that were cutting off ends of celery and romaine from the other class and showing me their growth. So I would love to see the pictures of the bagels that you guys create after this, because I want to know all about it. So next week we are going to be doing bathroom scents. And what does that entail? We're going to do a DIY poop-free, or if you forget to use that and we're all contained in the same houses, a bathroom spray. So we're going to do that, and then the following week we're going to do sourdough bread, and I've been playing around with that, and I can tell you I have made some bricks, man. I'm telling you, these things are heavy. I've made some that were really chewy. I've made some that are really sour. It's a learning game. So I finally, after playing around with a bunch of different recipes, came up with one that is not labor intensive, that is fairly easy to follow, and the loaves come out a lot later. So that's coming up. So starting to get these scheduled. I'll start getting them out more in advance so you can make sure that you get to tune in to the ones you want. So for those of you who are just coming online, thanks so much for joining us tonight. If you don't know me, I'm Renee Pocoy, and from Organic Stepping Stones. It's all about health and hope and community and really pulling together. So I would love comments today, questions, because I'm the interaction kind of girl. You know, we'll have some give and take, and Drew will be helping out, so he'll be able to let me know what the questions are today. And I'm just really grateful and very thankful to be here tonight. And I'm grateful and thankful for all of you tuning in for bagels. And I'm curious as to how many of you guys have ever tried doing bagels, because it's really not difficult. One of the things that I think is really important and that I haven't done bagels is because of the short rise of the dough. And whenever we're doing a short rise with just using yeast and then making something right away, there isn't that natural kind of fermentation process that goes down to help make the flour in that more digestible and easier to digest. And so it's just a carb going in, and it doesn't really have a whole lot of goodness going on. So I like this one because it is a longer, rise. We're going to do the quick rise with the yeast, but we're also going to do an overnight, slow grow kind of thing with our dough. So I'm really excited today.
We got a bunch of people in here that you need to say hello to. That
we got a bunch of people, Drew says.
Lydia, Victoria, Megan, Alexandra says hi. Victoria says hi. Lydia says hello. Linda joined.
Wow.
Rosette joined us. Linda says hello. Kathy joined and also said hello. Cassie McInerney joined us. Debbie Bush says hello. Renee,
we got
Shelly,
a house full.
Sue, Nancy, Luann, all just joined us as well.
Yay.
Sorry we missed you guys and we had to catch up really quick. So we're getting going here. Mom, continue. Take
All
it
right.
away.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep on sharing. So sorry if we missed your messages. Colin also says hello. Says
All
Megan.
right.
And Sue, our top fan, also says hi. We love all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Absolutely. And hey, if you know other bagel lovers out there, this is a perfect opportunity to share, to get that word out. If you're in some groups, food groups or whatever, send that message. Bring them all in so we can all be making some bagels and enjoy some of this yumminess all weekend. Also, the recipe for tonight is on Organic Stepping Stone's website. So I will go over how to do this, and I have different stages in the dough set up in different phases. So we'll actually be doing some boiling of the bagels. Let me just turn my water up a tiny bit there. So we're going to have that going on because obviously I can't do the whole process at one set. So we're going to break it down into sections. So again, thank you all for tuning in. And, share it, love it, and if you're not currently following Organic Stepping Stones, follow that so you can get some notifications on some of the upcoming classes. So, Drew, do we start on this process?
Yeah, you can start.
We're starting. Okay. What we're starting with first is I did say that we are starting with a yeast. So what I'm going to do, and that is the one thing I did not grab is my yeast. I have everything else out. Hold on, people, I gotta disappear for a second.
Karen just followed us. Thank you.
Hey Karen, thanks for following. Appreciate that. And regarding yeast, which right now is really difficult to find, I got the last jar when I went to the store last week. Keep it in the freezer. And people always buy the packets, you don't really get that much in the packet. And if you keep your yeast in the freezer, it's still good even after the expiration date. But if you're keeping it in the cupboard at room temperature, your yeast will not last. Because I used to buy these and then it wasn't working and I'd be throwing out the yeast all the time. So just keep this in the freezer. Even if you don't use it all the time, it'll last. It's way cheaper. It's in glass. If you guys know me, I'm all about glass. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do 1 tablespoon of the yeast. And then I warmed up already because you want to use warm water. I did 1 1/4 cups of water. Now you can use a fork. I have a little whisk. I'm just going to whisk this, if you can see me here, until all these little granules that are around the side of the bowl kind of disappear and dissolve. And another little tip I've noticed that if I just let this rest for a little bit, it helps with the rise a whole lot better. So that's good. It's all dissolved. I'm just going to let this rest now. And so while that's resting for a couple of minutes, letting it all dissolve, we're going to go to the flour. And I really like einkorn flour. It is the original non-hybridized yeast. And I'm not sure, people, if it's 11 or 13 chromosomes, but it's what our body knows what to do with.
So from the top, for a couple of people who just joined us, sorry for cutting you off.
We're good.
You're in the middle of a thought.
Yeah.
Sorry for everyone watching.
Welcome. We're doing bagels, and we started with a 1/4 cup of water and a tablespoon of yeast. Let that dissolve, and now we're going on to the flour that we're using. And I really like this because even people that have an issue with gluten.
And Jenny just joined us.
Jenny, yes. Glad you're in the house.
Jenny, the top sharer of the week, invited over 500 friends to this live stream.
No way.
Yeah, well, I think it was 390, but 500 sounds better, but that's still amazing. More friends than a lot of us even have.
More than I do. That's for sure. So in this bowl,
making bagels. Back to it.
Making bagels. In here I already measured out 3 cups of flour. I'm going to do 4. What I want you to do, and I know some people are like, you got to sift it. Yeah, okay, if I have to do that all the time, you guys, I'm just not baking. So it's great to sift, but I just do it so it's not packed. You don't want to pack your flour. So I'm just going to go until I got approximately, I've got 4 cups now of the flour. Get that out of the way. I am going to, if you're using bread flour, you don't need baking powder, but I'm using einkorn. And also this one, it says it's non-GMO and aluminum free. You guys, we don't need the aluminum. You can buy baking powder without aluminum. So find that and use that. Again, simple changes make your food way cleaner. I'm doing a tablespoon.
Julie just joined and says, hey, Renee.
Hey, Julie.
And Emily, cousin Emily as well.
Welcome, welcome, guys. I'm so glad you're
hello.
coming in. And then I'm doing a tablespoon. This is actually coconut sugar. And you could use coconut sugar. You could use Sognak. You can do a non-bleached sugar. We really want to try to stay away from the white bleached sugar that's been stripped, and it's just not really any good for us. And then Celtic sea salt, it's in a jar because I buy 5 pounds at a time because it's just good stuff. We're adding 2 tablespoons, or 2 teaspoons rather. And again, like I said,
Shakina just tuned in.
Hey Shakina, girlfriend, glad you're in the house today. So I've got 1, I've got 2, and that's my salt. Again, Celtic sea salt, there's over 80 minerals, you guys. We need the minerals.
Sue
Make
asks,
it good.
what about sugar in the raw?
Sugar in the raw is not bad. You could use sugar in the raw. I try to go with organic. I don't know that sugar in the raw is actually organic, though.
You've had about 10 more people join.
Whoa.
Let's start from the top.
Starting from the top.
What do you have in the bowl so far?
In the bowl, we've got water and yeast, and we were letting that rest so that it dissolves, so it'll help our stuff rise. In here I've got flour, baking powder, salt, and sugar. And like I said, I use coconut sugar, but you can use other sugars.
And the ingredients will be listed on the website. We'll put a link in the comments.
Yes, it is already in the website. I forgot to put the link up. So I'm getting better at this, you guys. I'm learning as we go. So thank you for your patience, and thanks for sharing and being part of this tonight. So I'm now going to add most of this. And the reason why I say most is with flour, different flours have different densities.
Annette and Maria have just joined us as well.
Welcome, welcome, you guys. Appreciate it. And then I'm just going to take and stir this. Let me get this off of here. And I'm just going to go slow to start incorporating the water and yeast with the flour, the salt, the baking powder, and the little bit of sugar. And I always start off with a silicone scraper. You can get right in there with your hands if you want, but it tends to be extremely sticky in the beginning, and then your hands are like majorly coated.
Question about the water. Do you get your water to a certain temperature?
Just so that it's warm. We don't want it hot. We don't want it boiling. My dough is still pretty sticky, so I'm going to add a little bit more of the flour. And so that's what you can do, is sometimes you're going to want to add a little bit more, and sometimes, like the last batch, I measured out 4 cups, but I didn't use all of it. And so now that I've done this, and I did wash my hands prior to this, so clean hands is important. Wash your hands. You could do one of 2 things. I like to knead the dough right in the bowl, and so I just want to incorporate. So I'm going to constantly do a quarter of a turn and fold. I'm doing a quarter of a turn to fold. It's still a little sticky.
Show that one more time, if you will.
Oh yeah, I've got a little bit more flour, so I'm going to put this in here. So you're literally grabbing your dough and you're kneading it. I'm doing a quarter of a turn, and I'm incorporating all of the flour. Again, my water was warm to help dissolve the yeast. And if you have a machine that's a heavy duty one with a dough hook, you could do that. I personally find this therapeutic. The thing about this is you are going to need to knead this for about 10 minutes. So I'm not actually going to knead for the full 10 minutes, though it is therapeutic.
You've had about another 10 people join if you want to recap where we're at and what we're doing.
Absolutely. Welcome, you guys. We're doing bagels today. You know, Friday at 7, we do this every Friday.
Like and follow Organic Stepping Stone so you can tune in.
Yep. And yeah, if you follow it, then you'll get the notifications of the upcoming classes.
So bagels.
We're using water and we're warming it to dissolve the yeast. Recipes on the website. Then we're adding in a separate bowl our dry ingredients. It was the flour, the salt, the sugar, and the baking powder. And I'm actually still a little bit sticky here. You can see how it's kind of gripping my hands a little bit. So I did my 4 cups, and I'm just going to sprinkle a little on the top.
A little what?
A little bit more flour, einkorn flour. I sprinkled on the top, so it's like this. I'm now going to flip it upside down, and I'm going to continue with the quarter fold. I know on a lot of recipes, they say that you really shouldn't go by cup measurements because there is different densities of flour, and that you should do it by weight measurement and using a tare and kind of like, and that is cool. And there are some people that are really good with that. You guys, I'm not. If you know me, I'm going to share the story many, many years ago. My aunt, who makes pierogi dough, or used to, homemade pierogies every Friday. I don't know how many dozens they would make, 70 dozen or something for the restaurant. And she was teaching us how to make dough. And she says, here, feel this. This is how it's supposed to feel. And I'm like, yeah, right? I'm like, I don't think so. I didn't get it at the time. Okay, I now make pierogi dough and other stuff and helping to keep that tradition alive. And I can truly say that when the dough is right, it's like, this is the texture. You want it nice. You don't want it so stiff that you can't knead it. So you're just going to do that after I've kneaded it. And this hasn't been quite 10 minutes, but for the purpose of this video, and I'm not going to keep you here for the whole process, I now have a really nice ball. This is beautiful dough, you guys. And
Brooke and Susan Wise have joined us.
Welcome, you guys. Been a while. And now that I have it, if I just leave it in this bowl, you could take a clean bowl, because you guys, I'm all about let's not dirty if we don't have to, right?
2 questions.
Questions.
Is einkorn the only flour you can use for this recipe?
No. You could use any kind of flour you want. I would at least recommend, if at all possible, for it to be an organic flour. If it's conventional, there's a lot of pesticides and herbicides, especially on wheat to help dry. Even if it's not a GMO wheat, a lot of companies spray really heavy duty with Roundup to kill and dry the plant so they can harvest it. So if at all possible, yes. If you are using bread flour, you don't need the baking powder. Because bread flour, I believe, already has it in it to help it rise, so you don't need that. What was the other question?
It was a statement, but Sue just bought the Young Living einkorn flour, and she's so excited now.
Oh, it's a beautiful flour. I love einkorn.
Sue Angela. You got
Yes.
a couple Sues in here now that I see. Hello to Ivory Sue and everyone else also tuning in. Thank you.
Yes.
38 people live currently.
All right.
We got a full house.
Full house. So you could get a clean bowl, like I said. I'm not going to do that. I'm now going to take some oil, and I'm using what's called MCT oil. And that is actually medium train triglyceride. It's from coconut oil. And it just stays in a liquid form. That's really a really good fat for us, and it can go to a high temperature. You don't want to do a low temperature smoke oil, so like an extra virgin olive oil, that's a low smoke point. So since we're going to be baking this at 425, I don't want to do that. So I put the oil in the bowl, and I'm rolling my dough around. So it is now covered in oil. The bowl has a little bit of oil, so as this grows, it's going to...
Grows.
Yes, it's going to grow. What we're going to do is we're going to cover this, and I put my lid away. I have a lid, or no, it's down over there, the red lid. If you don't have a lid, you can use cellophane. I think it's down there. Yep, there's my red lid. So for about 60 minutes is usually good enough unless your house is really cold. I'm just going to take and cover this, and this should double in size in about an hour. And that's what the active yeast part does.
Jenny asks, where did you get the oil from? The MCT oil.
The MCT, that was just at a health food store. You can get that anywhere. You can even use another one.
Do you need a lot of it? Can they just get some from you?
Yeah. All I'm using is maybe a tablespoon of oil. This one I think I got at Meijer, and this is just fractionated coconut oil. Again, I think avocado oil is a high smoke point, and if I'm not mistaken, maybe sesame seed oil. So there are a lot of different oils, and all you're doing is about a tablespoon on there. So now that we have this, we're going to let it rest. After 1 hour, and it has doubled in size, I usually do this in the evening. I stick it in the refrigerator overnight. And the reason I do that is all of you that are fermenters out there, because you know I'm a big fermenter, I want it to be a slow process, a continued rise to get some fermentation in there. I don't want it just to be a yeast. Because in reality, after an hour, I could make the bagels. However, nutritional wise for us, it's not in our best interest. So let's say I now have had this, it's doubled in size, it was in the refrigerator. Whoop, next morning, I take it out for an hour, allow it to come to room temperature. Once it's done that, here's another batch that I did, and you can see how much larger this one is. This one I don't have a lid for, so I used the...
was that the same amount of ingredients as that other one?
Same amount. Sometimes it's puffier, sometimes not quite as much. And so what I'm going to do now is, I should have done this earlier and I didn't. Let me just clean my surface down with my thieves, do a quick wipe down. Oh, I think I lost a leg on my table here. On this table. Okay, I'll just put my paper towel, stop it from on. So now I'm going to gently lift my dough. I'm going to pop it here on the table. I've got this really cool thing that I just got like 2 weeks ago. You don't have to have it. I haven't had it in years, but I love it. And I'm just going to take this dough, I'm cutting it in half. Now I'm going in quarters. And again, you don't have to be real particular. I'm actually going for 8. I have done 10. And they're a little bit smaller, and for me, I particularly liked them when they were smaller. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take one of these triangles, and I'm just going to make a ball. So I'm just going to roll this, I'm going to make a ball, and this one is going to be a plain one. There's nothing else in it. And I want to see these little gaps. If I don't roll that good, it opens up. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Is that a beautiful bagel? These are still warm. I made these a little while ago. You'll get some splits if you don't mind that. That's cool. So after I do that, I'm going to you can take your thumb or your forefinger, and I'm just going to do a gentle stretch. And just like it's separating there a little bit, I'm going to grab it around and open it up. So I'm now making my bagels. And they don't have to be perfect, you guys, so that's what they're going to look like. Let me get one of my trays. You're going to have a tray with parchment paper on it. Mine is brown because it has not been bleached. I don't know why we have to have it white and have bleach in it. I'm going to do another one, except this one, okay, this here is a family favorite. I'm just taking a bowl, and I'm going to take a little bit of this sugar, sprinkle it in there. I'm going to take some cinnamon, and I'm going to sprinkle, whoops, a little bit more than what I need there. I'm going to stir it around. And since I like to make a variety of bagels, not all the same kind, I'm not going to incorporate this in my dough. I could have done that before and done all of the all cinnamon raisin. So I now have this triangle. I'm actually just going to take and stick it in there. And I've got raisins. I'm going to grab about 10 and I'm going to spread them out on here. And then I'm just going to start folding the dough over. So what I end up with is kind of like swirled dough. So rather than it being incorporated in the whole thing, you're going to have little bits of cinnamon, little bits of sugar, little bits of your raisin. And again, I'm just punching my fingers through and I'm making my bagels. And I'm just doing like that. So again, I'm going to just dip in my sugar and cinnamon if you like, and you don't have to put raisins in. Like I said, at this house, it's a favorite. So I'm going to stick some raisins in there. Going to do some furl action going on and make my ball. You know, give it a good squeeze so that the dough is going to go around all of those raisins, and then pull my dough to make an opening.
Annette, I agree. They're my favorite too. You should probably dip it in the cinnamon too.
And you can do that. Here, let's say this next one. Let's say I don't want the raisins, but I want to do the cinnamon sugar. But we're going to do that after the boil. So I'm going to let these 4 rest for a couple of minutes here. Let me do one more so that I can, because the more I handle these, the dough is dense. So especially when I'm doing the cinnamon raisins. So normally after I do this, I'm going to take a towel and I'm just going to cover and let that rest. While this is resting, over here I'm going to bring about 2 quarts of water to a boil. And then I'm going to turn it down a little bit. And I am going to add about a 1/4 cup of honey. You can also use a malt syrup. I don't have that, and this honey is actually crystallized a little bit, but once it goes in the water, that's fine. Again, you guys, I don't measure everything. That's about a 1/4 cup. So I'm just going to put it in my water, and I'm going to let that honey dissolve. That does 2 things. It helps to hold the shape of the bagel, because we're going to actually put it in the water for a minute on each side. And it helps to hold the shape, and it gives a nice flavor. I haven't honestly tried it with the malt syrup, so if you guys have that, I would love to hear what your preference is of honey over the malt syrup. And I did put that in the recipe, and if you didn't hear, the recipe is at organicsteppingstones.com in the recipe category. It's the last one up there. We will put the link in this feed, so if you're not sure, we'll make it easy for you guys. So I'm going to go over this really quick as this rests for a couple of minutes. Question, comment, Drew?
No, just that the recording will be posted. You have a couple more people joining in every now and again to let them know that they'll be able to get the full recipe and recording here.
Absolutely.
And the link will be in the comments afterwards.
And the link will be in the comments. And while this is resting, if you have other peeps that love bagels, reach out to them, share this so that they can see the rest of this and also watch it from the beginning. So take a moment out for those people that you love, you guys. You know, reach out to them. Follow us on Facebook. Check out the website. You can even sign up for a newsletter. And if you think you're going to get a ton of mail from me, it's not a problem, you guys. I'm like a once-a-monther, okay? It's an email that anybody could handle. So what we did is we started off with our bowl. And, yes.
Oh, no, Annette says she'll do a porch pickup, LOL, because you got so many bagels. I added that piece, but I think it's funny. Jenny says she's jealous of your stove, and Megan recommends blueberry bagels.
Ooh, I have not tried blueberry. You know, I have some frozen ones. You know, I don't see why I couldn't stick a few of those frozen ones. And you can be creative on this. So we had the water and the yeast. We did the flour, the baking powder, salt, and a little bit of sugar. We combined all of that. We made our dough. we oiled our bowl and our bowl. We let it rest for an hour on the counter. It sat in the refrigerator overnight. We took it out. Again, bring it to temperature for 1 hour, and we start making bagels. So I'm going to say that this is probably good, but what's going to happen if you worked the dough too much? They sink to the bottom. Where if you've let them rest, I like to let them rest for at least 15 minutes. We have to boil the bagels before we can bake them. So if you want to bring that phone over here, and we're going to go over, and I said the same thing. We're going to do what?
It's a camera, not a phone. No.
This is high-end tech, you guys. Look out. So I'm going to take this beautiful bagel that we made, and again, they don't have to be perfect, you guys. And I'm just going to drop this into the water. And this one is semi-floating, so that meant I let it rest enough. And you're going to want to put
so that's what you were talking
3
about.
to 4 in your pan at a time. And I take this last one, and I obviously let them rest. See, that raisin one is sinking a little bit more because I worked that over a little bit more. So I'm going to have this in this water about a minute on each side. And then that helps to keep the shape for when we go to bake them. While that's in there and I'm watching the time, the next thing we need to do is we need to make an egg wash. And what an egg wash is I put in a tablespoon of water in here, and then I'm going to crack an egg, but I only want the white. So I'm going to just go back and forth in the shell.
You've never done that before, huh?
Back and forth.
You wouldn't even think it has a yolk.
And then I will just put a cap on this and save this for scrambled eggs for tomorrow. So there's my little yolk that I'm not using and my shells that I can get rid of. And in there, usually I do it in a bigger bowl and I would kind of whisk it together, but I have one of these little whisks and I'm going to do this. And this is going to help the toppings stay on if you want to do toppings. And I got to flip these bagels over here to do the opposite side. That's 2, 3, and 4. Okay, let that sit there for about another minute. And then as I take them out, I'll put the wash on. So you've seen me do the cinnamon and sugar, and we have that. Another one that you can do that I love is an everything bagel. And I'm putting in some Celtic sea salt in here. I'm going to add garlic because everything is better with garlic. Toss a little bit of that in there. I'm going to do some sesame seeds, sprinkle some of that in there. And then we're going to add a little poppy seed, get some beautiful color going in there. And we're going to do an everything bagel. I ran out of onion flakes, but normally I would add a little bit of onion flake in there. And again, you can do as much as you want. You can do a sprinkle or you can do a roll. I'm going to show you on doing a roll. Let me grab this other pan with my parchment paper on it again. And I'm going to take the bagels out now. So I'm just going to kind of drain so most of the water comes off. They really don't drip a lot. And I have a slotted spoon that I'm using in the kitchen, you guys. Don't go out buying stuff, you know. And one more. And you can see they've even gotten larger from like the one over here. So they do grow a little bit. And now that I have them here, you can get really creative. Let me see, this one's got raisins in it. So if I wanted to do, forgot the egg wash. I'll do the egg wash. And I'm just gonna brush all the way around. This also makes them nice and shiny, you guys. They look beautiful. And then you could take it, just dump it in however you like, depending on how much you want on there, and go out. And let me see, is this the plain one? This one's a plain one?
Yeah, you only washed the one.
Okay. And then this one will be my everything bagel. And again, if you want a lot, you could do that way. Or if you want, you could just do the egg wash and not put a topping on. But it really does make them nice and shiny and pretty. And you could also sprinkle. So let's say, okay, Renee, really? That's getting a little carried away, girlfriend. So let's say I just want to take a pinch. I could do a little sprinkle. and then it's not so excessive. Just like that.
Dunk them.
Dunk 'em. Okay, you can tell my family is the sugar family. Okay, I'm the savory, they're the sweet. So there you go, guys. And then after that, you preheat your oven, and you're going to toss them in the oven and bake them at 425 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes. And then these are still warm from what I did right before this video. So we've got sesame, we've got everything, we've got some cinnamon raisin swirl, I've got a plain in there. They're amazing, you guys. Really, really good. You need to share this, you guys, because I had no idea. Bagels could be fun and easy. They're not difficult, and they're really, really yummy. What I didn't touch into was where can you get einkorn flour? Okay, right now, I had a little glitch in my dough earlier, and my order of flour hasn't come in, and I had to go hunt for flour today. I'm like, are you kidding me? Long story, not going there. But you can get einkorn flour from Young Living, and they sell it in a 2-pound package. You can also get it from Jovial Foods. They are currently out of stock, unless you want the all wheat, and they have it in 10-pound bags right now.
Megan wants you to break one open in front of the camera. I think it's a great idea.
Ooh, here we go, you guys. Crispy and nice and chewy on the inside. Yum. Okay, you want to just take it and eat it? Go ahead. I don't know, Drew, are they any good?
They're delicious.
And so in my quest on flour, I don't always do a lot of flour, but in 2 weeks, if I didn't tell you, we're doing sourdough, you guys. So I have ordered, I'm gonna blow your mind on flour right now. Waiting to get shipped to my house right now. I'm out of my mind. I'm getting 55 pounds of flour coming to the house. You're like, what?
55 pounds, we're selling flour.
But what you can do is you can store your flour in your deep freezer, and it keeps it fresh again. Because, being a natural flour, it will go rancid and go bad if it's sitting. Like I used to keep my flour above my stove. Okay, that's serious heat going on there. So, Jovial Foods, I was out there. I found a new place, and it's Ancient Grains. They were selling the einkorn flour. I think it was a 20-pound bag, but they were out of the all-purpose, but they had the 100% ground einkorn wheat, so I ordered that. And then, you guys, I found this really, really cool site called Central Milling. And in there, I ordered some malted flour. I ordered some artisan flour, and they're all organic. And they had they have buckwheat if you want in there. They had some pumpernickel and rye. Some of them, again, were out because everybody is baking again right now. And so those are some options, and I will try to put that in the link or somewhere also, or maybe even in the recipe.
You got a lot of notes to put in the comments.
I got a lot of notes, you guys. I got some work going on.
Question, though, before enough people... a lot of people are interested. There's 3 or 4 likes already on this. Rosette asks, if you wanted cheese and jalapeno, would you put it on at the same time, or should you let them cook a little first? I'm thinking at the same time is like when you wiped it down.
Right, after I take it out of the water, I would do my egg wash, and if I was going to do cheese, I would just put a whole slice of cheese, because you know what, and maybe make my hole a little smaller, because you know how when you get them at the bagel places, the cheese, there's a whole bunch in the center because they're just plopping on. I would put a whole slice on there, and same thing, I would just fold in some jalapenos. What I would watch, though, is if I'm doing jalapenos, I would probably do those last in my water, because I wouldn't want the heat of the jalapeno, to go throughout the whole water, because then you might have cinnamon raisin that is hot. So again, thank you guys for joining us. Follow and like Organic Stepping Stones. Check out the website. Tune in next week for bathroom sprays, potpourri, because we're all locked down.
What is the topic?
Next week is DIY bathroom spray. You know,
bathroom sprays.
Sprays.
I thought you said space. I was like, Dad, we're doing construction.
No, we're not knocking down any walls, but you know, there's a brand that you can go out and buy, and it's like $10. Well, okay, we're gonna do it on pennies of the dollar. If you forgot to use it in the bowl, we'll also have a room spray. So that's there, and then in 2 weeks we're doing sourdough. So thank you guys for tuning in.
Make sure to follow Organic Stepping Stone so you can see us, get a notification when we come online. Julie says, nice job, Renee. I'm definitely going to try these. Victoria says, thank you. Definitely going to make these. I love our Friday nights.
Right? Fun, you guys. Who would ever think this would be excitement on Friday night?
And also, please let us know if there's any other topics you would like to touch on, or even if you have questions that aren't the bathroom spray or things that are maybe related to it. Well, my mom, she'll write an article or she'll answer your question live, because that's what we're all about, making sure we help out each other and help out community.
And if you guys have some really cool recipes, I would love to feature you on the website. Give me a picture, give me the recipe, and we're doing it. So enjoy your bagels, everybody. See you next week. Bye. Thanks.